I would start with that, with the comments that we got from the first episode. They wanted us to have an intro, not just jumping in the middle of the
So we didn't have
topics.
an intro.
You didn't listen to our
I listened
podcast?
to it and I remember like the guests of the previous podcast were introducing themselves.
No, intro as an just introducing our podcast. We didn't do that for 2 episodes, and now
So again, what was the name of your podcast?
the Breakout Room podcast.
Come on, join the breakout
Yeah.
room. It's
Come on.
gonna be so fun and good.
Yes. So fun and cool. That is nice. We are the Breakout Room podcast from SRH, Harlem University of Applied Sciences. And it is our third episode. If you have missed the other ones, go and check it out. They are pretty not knowledgeful, but knowledgeable and inspiring, I would say. And the discussions were pretty fun, at least for me. Today, we don't have our co-host Ali Reza because he was in the middle of something, but we have a new guest, Yehor.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry, for so unofficiality. Sup guys. So I think one of the first to ever knew about this podcast because me and Kia we have a long history since he first when applied for this university. I met him in the introductory day for his intake. So we had a long history and I knew about his podcast, but I didn't have time, courage to come to the first podcast. I mean, the first ever episode that was recorded here, I think at the time I was sitting in my room just drunk or it was after party, you remember?
Yes.
And I was kind of drunk and I was kind of sleeping at the time. I was just resting after, the fun night. But apart from that, I'm very pleased, to at least to come here
Oh, that's nice.
to visit this precious room we're recording in, and not normally sitting in the armchair. Basically, my you can see my legs are
Yeah.
on top of the chair, like on the sides, and I'm sitting like I'm in the bed. But
So we would start with your introduction. What are you studying here? We have said that we have 3 different majors: BP, Creative Media.
bachelors.
Yeah, they are about bachelors. I don't know about masters.
Sustainability management, or
Yeah.
at least the website. There's 2 master's degree, but the only guys from or girls that I talked to from the master's degrees are doing the sustainability management.
The difference is one of them is part-time sustainability management master. One of them is full-time.
Part-time.
Yeah, part-time.
The
Just
part-time like us, or
none of you are full-time studying here. We are not Python. We are not part-time.
for the record, we're doing sometimes 2 or 3 hours per day, and it's considered full-time.
No, full-time. It is full-time. We are full-time here, not part-time.
and we're doing like literally sometimes 2 hours, especially us, because we're BP group and but we missed the introduction. I'm from business psychology class. For the context why I applied here, I was looking for the universities, and one of our friends of the family, distant friends, discussed with us that the best in the world education is in the such countries as Britain or the British system, educational system, and the Netherlands as a whole. So I started looking, and it was one of the private universities that I found, because to enroll in the governmental universities, hell no, man. It's like 5% chance only.
It is not.
It is.
It for psychology, yes. For
But
some,
for economic law, like I said, I remember I told you that off camera that I wanted to enroll into the Erasmus University of Economics, which is one of the most popular ones, I wanted to enroll there, but no chance. So I came here, but I like here. The only stuff that there are so many shocking things here. For example, I discovered the name of my course only when I got here during the introductory day. Then I was so shocked that we don't have like normal hours. We're just doing it like, oh, because for example in Ukraine the university class is called pairs because one normal lesson in school is 45 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
two one normal lesson in the universities in Ukraine is 1 hour and a half, so
Mm-hmm.
45 minutes two times pair.
Yeah.
And basically we have only two pairs in this university, when in Ukraine or any Eastern European countries there's like 3 or 4 pairs. So basically people sitting there like normal school hours, like from
Oh
8 till
yes.
4, 5 sometimes. But yeah, despite like besides school or apart from school, in the universities, the pairs are distributed not equally. But some people say that even had on Saturday evening some pairs, some classes.
Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So in Iran, I would say the difference is it depends on the credit. If it has one credit, two or three. So each credit is 40 meter long, 40 minutes
Mm-hmm.
long. So if it is one credit, it would be 40 minutes. Two credits would be 80, and like three credit would be 2 hours almost.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but the timing depends on yourself because you choose what to study, and they are kinda not electives, but you can select them from different like categories related to your degree that you're studying. Um, but here is also really different. In Iran is mostly like theoretical thing, not hands-on experience, but here is more about the experience that you practically gain.
Okay, hot take, but I think it's hard to replicate fully, the practical stuff on the job,
Yes.
because if you want, fully practical stuff, you need to have the internship. And what we do right now here is just I mean, aren't we preparing for different sort of exams? Like, um, in Ukraine, one of the main criticism of the big major tests, where what you do after the school, is that you prepare for them and you educate, especially for them, not to get the
Mm-hmm.
education itself. I think it's true for Iran also.
Yes.
Uh, it's the same for this school, where we just preparing for presentations and maybe having a presenting skills, but we're not studying something more meaningful.
The thing is that because audience may not know that how exams work here, I would say that they are mostly more than two exams for each course, which is 5 week long. So after that 5 week, or usually in the fourth week and fifth week, you have to either
Sometimes on third
prepare.
week.
Yeah. Sometimes third week also. You have to either prepare a presentation within a group or by yourself, or I don't know, come up with an idea and try to write it into an essay. Um, but there are sometimes debates and written exams.
One time it was debate. It was in the beginning of my school year, and I think it was one of the most miserable experience when you.
It was fun.
Yes, but when you don't really adapt it yet, and you still English is not your first lesson, and you need shit ton of information. Because
Yes.
yeah, I love debate. One of my when I was during start of puberty, like somewhere around when I was 13, 14 years old. I loved political debates channels and political debates, videos and commentaries,
Yes.
and it's fascinating, to see, and to always found the middle ground, because mainly the debates are not created, for both sides. They created, for the observers and for the spectators, just to justify the middle information or the truth in between. J-
Um, yes, but here it is a way to show that you are knowledgeable about the thing that you have studied.
yeah, and the
So
thing we was
many of my friends argue with me that creating presentations or writing essays is not that hard compared to written open question exams.
I mean,
What what
yes,
would you say?
technically yes, but um, there's still masterful skill of creating presentations because I remember during my school class, especially biology in first school, because for the record I switched schools during the high school, and in my first school I remember the biology class and her presentations, and they were awful, so garbage. And also for the context, I attended designer courses in middle slash high school, and and also I finished them I think this autumn, so I was attending it for quite a bit, and I know some things about designing. And to create a masterful presentation with nice visuals that actually capture your attention, plus actually delivering it in a nice manner, in a nice like basically right now, for example, I think, for example, my voice, or at least like how I talk, is not suitable for presentation. Uh, I think I need still to develop, and in that way, and people who actually can talk, especially for whom English is their primarily language. It's so easy. It's so darn easy, and I think, yeah, presentations are technically easier than open-ended exams, but still, it's its own mastery. It's its own, when everything done right, it's like a sorcery, like miracle.
Yes. But my view on that would be for written exams, you have to only study the material. For this, you have to study the material and you have to be able to convey it through like captivating presentation, which is hard because now you have to come up with your own design for that, and you have to know that the order of slides and how are they going to be ordered because they won't tell us. Yeah, it has, I mean, all presentation follow the same order in terms of introduction, and then I don't know, for example, table of contents, conclusion, and main bodies and stuff. But the thing is that, for example, when you have three different styles slides that are in main body and you want to just like elaborate on them, you have to just think more that, for example, to put which one first. But the thing is that in terms of writing text on that, you should be also really efficient. In terms of putting visuals, you have to think. Also, presentation skills are not just about your ability of English. You have to have the tone, you have to have the body language, you have to engage them. But here, maybe because it is just a university, many of that people will not just take it that serious. But for example, if you wanna do a presentation pitch for investors and you really wanna get your company off the ground and promote it, you have to really have those skills and you have to have a really captivating presentation.
Not also skills, but some knowledge, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or at least I think the most interesting part in the presentation and any assignment in the uni is actually studying your topic and discovering the context behind it. Like, for example, for it was presentation we had to for operations management class. Basically, operation management is everything, like, everything about company, how they operate, every single one of their units, every single one of them of their departments, how their product starts from being created, ending up with being distributed. and every single step of these is studied in this class. And I had a presentation about we could pick any company, and I picked up the American bank, J.P. Morgan, and there's okay. To be honest, yes, there were so little information about stuff that actually interested me, but even from the things that I discovered, it was so interesting. About the how starting from the general knowledge about banks, how the money is distributed, how it's printed, and then went to the general reserves of the states, like for example of New York. Uh, I discovered about their office, the history of the banks, the history of and the Wall Street, and why for and you see you dig in even deeper, and like for example, on one time I was still working on the presentation, and I understood that I'm actually right now reading not about the company itself, but how like New York became the financial center of the USA instead of Florida. I think it was Florida or
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania. I don't remember. So, guys who listen to our podcast, write in the comments which was the first economical center of USA before New York.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Write it
interactivity.
down
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But yeah, so basically, I think it's the most fun part when you gain extra knowledge outside of things that you're actually essential or need to. And I think it's even better than the normal schools when they give you the portions of information from the books which you need to study for and only for them in the presentations. Also, things that you missed after the whole presentation, after you have the conclusion slide and the end slide. I think the final part of the presentation is also the Q&A stuff. And in the
Yes.
Q&A stuff, you actually face not the information that you studied for, but the information you actually discovered. You actually face the people, if they have genuine interest in the presentation, or had, or at least they try to show the genuine interest. Um, they ask you different sorts of questions. Like for example, for different presentation we did about, you know, hypothetical company that sells solar panels in South Africa to deal with the energy crisis over there. And one of the girls that was actually working in the electricity company, or at least I think solar panel company. I don't remember, but yeah, she was working in that field, and she asked really like questions that actually caught me off guard and my team. I can't speak in the name of my team, but yeah, it caught me off guard. So yeah, and I was
Yeah.
actually shocked. I tried to at least take something from the slides and redeliver it in different manner because I didn't really know what to say. But and also the thing is also you can prepare for the Q&A stuff. I prepare, for example, I did the calculation, I did the price of solar panels, I looked up through the whole web, to find the to solar panel prices in Africa, in South Africa, in America. I forgot every single number, but yeah. So yeah, I can prepare, but again, I was caught off guard. Oh, so yeah, so basically wrapping up that topic, yeah, preparing for presentations not hard, but is really hard in its own way. I don't think you can compare it to the written exams. And I think your friend is right in sort of way that written exams are harder, but if you really can present yourself, you can actually connect two and two words to and combine it into the cohesive story. Yeah, the
Yes.
presentations are quite easy for you, but if you're actually doing it as an assignment, not as an opportunity, to gain new knowledge, then yeah, there are some complications that can arise.
Yeah, I also would think that they are opportunities, not only studies, because now, in most of the presentation, you get the chance to choose your own topic. so that it would be an opportunity for you to search more, learn more, and then present it to others um, of the topic that you are actually interested in.
Yeah, but like was said in the book 1984, freedom is slavery. I mean
What do
the more freedom you have, the actually you're getting lost in this freedom, and it actually ties your hands in terms of, okay, uh do I have this sort of freedom, or do I have like freedom in this own way, or I can do anything I want, or I have the freedom to a degree, or and in what fields I can like expand on which fields I can elaborate on.
Yes.
There are so many questions to arise from that, which
Yeah.
drags away you from the concrete answers and concrete topics and concrete questions that you need to ask initially when you're doing the presentation. Like, for
Yeah.
example, in how relevant it is, how we can do it smart, how we can do it specific, because I think specificity also like is important, not also for research papers but for the presentations.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and when you have so much freedom, you usually get lost, and like sometimes after we get an assignment for do presentation or whatever we want in our subject, we just like sit with the teammates for 5 minutes or so, or not even presentations, like for research paper. The last module we had was about writing a research paper on any business related topic that you want, and me and my friend Max, the Dutch guy, he's 19 years old, we were sitting together like for the I think hour or hour and a half, or even I think we said like for 3 hours. Yeah, we had conversations apart from the topic, just simple chit chat. But in the end of the day, in the end of the class, we just sat there with some topics that we want to expand on. But still, during the first week, we expanded on it, we changed it, and I think we only found something concrete
Mm-hmm.
on second week or even on
Yeah.
third one. So yeah, so basically, wrapping up this on this one, yeah, freedom is like it is actually sometimes not harmful, but can disorient you.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you want to just run your own business, no one is gonna tell you that how
Yeah,
you are gonna do it.
yeah, but like for example, okay, face it. Which business? Okay, I'm asking you right now. Which business do you want to expand on right now?
Maybe something related to psychology more
You
rather
see,
than business.
okay, you see, okay, you think it's sounds kind of concrete, and you kind of have the plan, but in reality, it just sounds like still like meaningless, or not meaningless in sense that what you want to do is meaningless. No, I don't think
Yes,
so.
yes.
In terms that you have so much, and the word psychology is so damn
Big.
big,
Yes.
huge. I even can say
Yeah.
that you will, it will be so pain in the ass to find something that you actually need, what you want to do, or actually can work out.
I mean, it's not all about the education. Everything you want to do in life, you have many, many, many other choices to do
Yeah,
something else and spend your time on something else. So, of course, it is about what was that? Uh,
attempt.
no, cost opportunity cost.
Yeah, but
Meaning that if you now that we are recording this podcast, we are losing our time on something else. We could have done something else.
I mean, I have a lot of spare time during the summer break. I,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
even the spare times, whatever you want to spend your time on, you will have also many other options. And if you want to think that, yeah, so freedom will just give you confusion, it is right. I I don't disagree. But it is like if you were told what to do during your whole summer, do you think it would have been nicer for you?
I mean, if we could, debate about what I'm going to do and build a schedule for 3 months, or like for example, someone's give me a schedule, but I can influence it. Yeah, I think it kind of would be nice.
So you
But
can do that. So you can build a schedule for
no, but I
yourself.
mean, what I'm talking about, like, in terms, again, I'm gonna return to the topic of school and school presentations and
Yes,
assignments.
yes.
When the professor giving you at least like some topic, it's like gives you less. It takes you less time, to actually start or expand on a topic or research question, and you actually start, digging in the info about it, and you
Yes.
think so basically, you think more about initially start thinking about content,
Mm-hmm.
not about the form, and not about like what it's gonna be about.
Yes.
When we going back to to the business stuff, yeah, I mean you can actually have many attempts. Try hard, like 50 Cent said, like hard, I forgot how the album name was, but basically, yeah, die trying. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can make many attempts, and yeah, it would be nice, and you'll be, your own boss. But if, for example, you actually had a concrete plan initially, or at least like someone gives you a hand and helps you, it takes you so less time to think about what you want to do, and actually gives you more time to build upon and expand upon first your
Mm-hmm.
skills,
Yeah.
second the way of the company or the business or what you're gonna do. I'm not saying I
Yeah.
want like someone to give me a hand and just say, yeah, I'm like, you're gonna be part of my startup, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be, part of something that is already ready. I'm gonna work there. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could, I want to.
Yeah. But so maybe that would be something for, I don't know, the people in power here to think about. Um, so maybe they are listening to it too. But now I would like to go into another subject, um, which is one of the hobbies that we both do in our spare time, gaming. To start with that, I just got my PS5 here back, and
Nice.
yesterday and today I was playing with my friends. I usually play Rainbow Six Siege,
Mm-hmm.
EA Sports, EAFC, or AKA FIFA. Uh, and GTA is also good. Red Dead Redemption. Um, Also Fortnite sometimes.
Um, the last three games that you mentioned, the Fortnite, the RDR2, and the GTA 5, I have a long history with them. Okay, with the RDR2 is less because I'm just a fan of Rockstar games, that they made one of the most popular, if not the most popular franchise in the gaming history, the GTA, and all the other projects are also interesting, as a, Bully, Midnight Club LA, The
Mm-hmm.
Manhunt, and RDR, uh, Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Um, yeah, and I also not searched, but looked at the company history. I actually was interested in it, so yeah. So because I was interested, I was interested in Red Dead Redemption 2, mainly because I think it's one of the story-rich games of Rockstar games. Aside from
Mm-hmm.
GTA 5, I think GTA 5 is most like, it tries to be like the okay, for the context, the Rockstar Games main two, not employees, but executives. It's the main director and producer of the game, Sam Hauser, and the main screenwriter, script writer for the games is Dan Hauser. They're both brothers who
Mm-hmm.
started the first company, DMA Design, which also then evolved into the Rockstar Games in 98, I think, or somewhere around 2000s. I don't remember. So yeah, and I was always curious about like how Dan Hauser, he started way back, started like writing scripts from for GTA's, GTA 3, and also the other Rockstar games. So basically, it's interesting to see his talent being upgraded through the years,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, RDR2 being his magnum opus. The GTA 5 is just like game of my childhood, and the Fortnite, I just spent the whole last summer of 2022 with my friend and his Discord friends uh, playing Fortnite, but I actually didn't have a career. Actually, recently, well, not recently, but I think for the whole life I was more into single player games. Yeah, I tried I played online games, but I think more single player games are in my heart than
Mm-hmm.
the online
Yeah.
one. Actually, recently I finished the Dark Souls trilogy. For those who don't know, the Dark Souls is considered one of the, not one of the, but um, the general consensus: these games are really hard. These are RPGs in the dark world fantasy.
Also,
Uh,
you have to explain what an
uh,
RPG game is because.
there are different sorts of RPG games. It stands for role play game. In some RPG games, you basically create a character, upgrade his skills, and you do all of that in Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
But if in the is it recording or not? Yes.
Yeah,
I don't
why
know.
not?
Yeah. If in the normal RPGs you actually creating your character and his own story, and you actually, because it's role play, you're playing certain character you want to. In some story RPGs, like for example Fallout, you actually choose the path of your character. Are you gonna be a bad guy, good guy, neutral guy, rich guy, poor guy, capitalist, communist,
Oh
and the
no.
sort of way. But in Dark Souls, you actually all you have of the RPGs is just creating a character, upgrading his skills, and for killing the non-playable characters on NPCs or the
Mm-hmm.
mobs like skeletons, pigs,
Yeah.
goblins. No, there are no goblins. Those are Dark Souls. Um, for in-game loot or in-game currency, which are souls. But this is, if most RPGs are, yeah, they more about story or gameplay, where you can be whatever you want, and within story you also can act whatever you want and have multiple endings. And so in Dark Souls, it's actually about uh, having your own build, or actually finding the right weapon for you, so which one you will like most. The fighting the boss and surpassing some areas over and
Mm-hmm.
over again, because the game is hard and you will die trying so many times. But actually, when you learn the patterns of the bosses and of the enemies and of the some areas, like what is the traps here, what is the attacks here, and you're actually gonna pass the whole game. You're actually gonna feel something. It's like surpassing the like certain step in your life. And when you pass the whole trilogy of the games, and you're like spot the difference between them, and also one of the greatest part about Dark Souls about the lore and the story of the games, about the kingdoms, about fear of power and being powerless,
Mm-hmm.
about depression, about curses, like in the like basically the premise or the whole point of the story and the lore, that the king that was in the first game, that was the main villain of the first game, basically didn't want to lose his power, so he prolonged his power on being the king, and also set the curse upon the humanity. But because of that, the world starting to corrupt, and the humanity starting to lose face and their humanity. And from the whole series, you see the consequences even after you kill this king. That the even after you defeat him, no, the problem's not gone. The humanity is still feeling the curse. The world is still collapsing, and in the end of the day, in the third game, in the end, you actually see that yeah, dark times are coming instead of fire, because the whole premise is that there's a fire age and there's dark age,
Mm-hmm.
af- and the whole trilogy set in the fire age, but in the third game the fire evades, and the dark times comes. So yeah, that's why the whole trilogy ends, because it's this cycle continues and the dark times come, but again because of the cycle the fire age will return eventually, so it's kind of
Oh yeah.
hopeful ending. I'm sorry, and I could speak anything about law. I studied it like more than some subjects in the uni, because it's really
Yeah.
interesting, or at least some enemies you fight, some bosses you fight, they looked interesting and their story is much more interesting. So yeah, I actually, and gameplay where you surpass, actually, and especially the first game, which is a masterpiece. When you pass the first Dark Souls with its DLC, you actually feel something, or actually
Mm.
surpassing something.
Yeah. So my question now would be that, as someone who has played a lot of games, a lot of time gaming, what would you say as the benefit of playing games?
Um, I mean, none. Uh, um, Actually, if it's fun time, it's and when you play multiplayer games, when you actually bonding with people. Sometimes the story of the game can actually affect you, and some games has actually story. Not as Hollywood, but like they have more something more than Hollywood story. Hollywood stories. How do you pronounce it in English? Hollywood.
Hollywood? Yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah. Because in Ukrainian we pronounce with g. The first sound is g.
Oh.
No, Hollywood. Doesn't matter. And yes, and some games are just Some games are mindless fun. Some games, like for example, the first Deus Ex. This is also RPG game about far future,
Mm-hmm.
where which was released in 1998, I think, or somewhere 90s, 1997. But it was actually have an interesting story. It's basically set in the dark future where the whole world is basically one big country apart from China, and it actually touch upon also topics of geopolitics, people views on the life and technologies and so on and so forth. Or for example, everybody knows Call of Duty, and one of the games in the series called Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Actually, some of the also background of the the world of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which was released in 2015. Some of the things actually happens now, for example, like about the tariffs, about China and the USA, economic war. Actually, it was written in the Black Ops 2 lore in 2015 or 13, I don't remember. So, my take is some of those games and the writers of those games are actually, also people who are not dumb, and they're actually, can see the world around, make their predictions, and some of them, yeah, they actually come true.
Yeah, that would be
So
also.
I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question particular. So yeah, you can have mindless fun of the games, or you can actually discover these games
Mhm.
and pick up something from the views of the author, because the games are the masterpiece, the piece of the fiction and the pieces of literature, like any book or media or any media, and actually if you see the author's ideas You can pick it up. You can do it whatever we want with it.
Um, Also, when you play online games, you will develop some skills, I would say, like your competence of the game, of course, your reaction time would
Yeah, I
go
saw a lot of
up.
topics how the games are affecting your mental health in a good way, your
Yeah.
motoric, your cognitive skills. I never actually bought into that because yeah, but at the end of the day, still it affects your eyes, it still affects your posture, and
Yeah,
there's still so many things you need to fix. So it's kind of trade off
I
like
mean, everything is harmful. What is not harmful in your life? Everything is harmful. If you do a
mm,
sports, it would like after a lot of years it would mess with your
yeah,
body.
but if you do sports carefully, you actually avoid trauma for many years when you do gaming, because you're doing it in your cozy atmosphere. You
Hmm.
not you don't do not set boundaries for you, because why do I need set boundaries? For sitting in my chair, and you start sitting whatever you like, and then in the end of the day you sit like this, like a shrimp, and
Yeah.
yeah, so and because of that, yeah, in sports you can set boundaries and avoid trauma. In gaming, when you're in your own apartment, or for example in computer club, okay, the seats in computer club are also soft. It's a big armchair. Why do you need to set boundaries when I feel cozy? And that's why there's some trauma came. Not big
Yeah.
one, not not meaningful in a full way, but still, again, posture, eyes, different physical conditions.
Yes. I would say that might be a problem, but for me, like the ability that it gives you quality time with your friends is something that I really enjoy because if you can have fun with your friends through virtual world, that would be nice and fun, and you can also learn something from that. But of course, it has some harmful things. To just wrap this up, yeah, good thing and bad thing are in almost anything. But now I would move again to another topic.
Yeah, can I just say the last take on the game, and we can wrap it up. I think
Yeah.
whatever your gender, whatever your age, whatever your nationality, I think everyone should play games, and
Yes.
at least and find their own genre. I think like many people watch movies, or at least watch one movie per year, or like listen to music, or like some of the reading books. I think they need to they need to accept games as also the piece of media, and actually, yes, also consider it as something serious. That's what I wanted to say regarding this topic.
Okay. Kind of the last topic of today discussion would be as both not Russian language and Persian language in Iran are rich in literature. I would a bit go into that and see what is your view on Russian written literatures. And I would talk about Persian poetry and its history a bit. So, if I want to start with that, I was in high school, especially deeply into Persian literature. And I really enjoyed it because you can found many things that cannot be easily conveyed through just normal talking, and it gives you some perspective from your ancestors and how they would have lived their lives. So we have many different periods in Persian poetry. It starts from like 10 centuries ago, um, when there were some like poets starting to write and publish their work. Then um, it is about 8th century ago, um, when it was more heroic and more mythic poems back then, because of what was happening to the people in Iran. And uh, yeah, the main theme was just myths and uh, epic poetry.
The memes.
Me,
You told myth, but in, like in the
me,
same like in the
yeah,
same way that you can tell the memes. Yeah,
yeah,
but one question: do Persian literature have the same thing with the? I think literature of many countries faced. You said it's like can be divided in multiple ages or
yes,
multiple, but also through the years there been like some genres that have been like the most popular or the most trendish.
yes,
Like for example, I don't remember the order, but like in the past there were different genres starting from realism or modernism or vice versa, like the abstract or no, there have never been abstract literature, but I mean. Mm, so yeah, like for example, in Ukrainian and Russian literature, there have been like so many genres that been popular through, and we actually can divide literature not only into the years but into genres. Is the same
hmm
for the Persian literature?
yes. Just when I'm mentioning that what that period was about, I'm mentioning the most popular race. For example, about 6 centuries ago, it was when the Mughals, or yes,
Who?
attacked us, attacked Iran,
Who?
Mongolians,
Ah, okay, yeah.
Mongolian people. Yeah, attacked us, and because of that, all people were down a bit because they were kind of detained by them, under attack by them. So in this case, in this period, it was more about love, philosophy, and the combination of both.
Can
And
I ask one question?
yes,
Uh, in the school, from all the because we had two separate literatures, our own and the foreign one, and from the
hmm
whole course of foreign literature, I think we touched upon Persian uh, writers only once. Do you know someone called Amar Khayyam?
yes, that is. He is so nice. I really like him, and he would specifically work on how, not specifically, but mostly work on how meaningless life is.
Really,
Yes, how meaningless it is.
kind of pessimistic.
Yes, but he insisted that we live in such a world that is full of shit, so um, also so meaningless. So the thing that we can do is just focusing on the moment that we are alive.
Wow.
So now that we are talking is the moment that we are living.
Mm-hmm.
Before it would be past, and upcoming years would be the future. If we want to think about them, we will be obsessed with something that we cannot change, we cannot predict, and we might not even be able to see that because there are lots of things happening, and we don't know what is going to happen to us tomorrow, let alone like in 10 years. But this very moment, we know that we are here. So that would be, yeah. So I have some of his works. Um, Maybe I can find it. Um, because I was kind of translating these Persian poems of Khayyam and sending them to like some people that
Mm-hmm.
I knew, and it was really nice. I cannot find it here, but in the next episode that we get together, I will prepare some. So they are in this period that were about 6 centuries ago. We have many famous, worldwide famous poems
Mm-hmm.
like Hafez, Rumi, um also Sadi, and then next it was about like 3 centuries ago,
Mm-hmm.
more abstract ideas, more less concrete things. Also speaking via really metaphorical language. Persian is a really metaphorical language, but back then it was, I think, the peak of that. And the contemporary poetry is about like politics, about society, about um, some environmental related topics that are concerning both normal people and the poets. So, what about Russian literature
I know more about Ukrainian one,
or
and
Ukrainian literature? Russian
actually,
language, I mean, or
I'm
Ukrainian language.
if we talk about okay literature or language,
Russian language literatures, like
uh,
written in Russian or
again
written in
because I
Ukrainian.
remember more about Ukrainian because
E-
shocking I came from Ukraine, so I know more about Ukrainian
oh,
one.
yeah, whatever that you know, yeah.
Um, no, I mean yeah, I also know about more about Russian literature because the two countries were most of the time side by side. So yeah, and that's why if there were trends in Europe, it came to the Russian Empire, for example, or to the Soviet Union, and that's why. No, I mean, no, in Soviet Union we didn't. They didn't catch on trends, but I mean during the Russian Empire times, yeah, it tried to catch on, and for example, and if it was the Romanticism or Modernism or Realism, or in Europe, it traveled to the Russian Empire and thus the Ukraine. I forgot most of that stuff. The most popular ones are Taras Shevchenko because I think he was writing. I think he was writing his poems in mostly Russian, but again
Mm-hmm.
because he was writing kind of like Russian, Ukrainian, and throughout the years again the because he was living in Ukraine throughout the years, people started to translating his poems into the
Uh-huh.
Ukrainian. He was writing mostly about or he was writing the big variety of poems, starting from how he had the king, we call it Tsar, how he had like the Tsar, to the how the beautiful weather is. Um,
Oh, yeah.
the one of the most important in Ukrainian literature history is Eneida by Kotlяревsky. He basically took the Cossacks, the knights of in Ukrainian folklore,
Yes.
and made it into the comedic book, which was so shocking and so new at the time that pooh, nobody expected that. Then
Oh.
the Chornorada or Black Meeting by the I don't remember who's the author. It was also telling about the historic part. It was one of the first historic books about Cossacks period in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think it was somewhere around that time when Ukraine was split, became split between two factions. One were you know for the Russia and one were against it. But again, it was a long time ago, and book
Hmm.
was talking about that. And then what else? Yeah, we have so many great authors, but I think I forgot about many of them because
Yeah.
a I mean some of them were forgetful. To be honest, not all of them were geniuses, but the one who stayed in my head again the Shevchenko, Lesya Ukrainka, or Lesya is the Ukrainian one, Kotyubinsky, Kotlarevsky, Shashkevich. I mean, you can expand on them, but not all of them were interesting. So yeah, I think Ukrainian literature is like mostly can be divided into, or I hate the Russia, or I hate the government, or more about how beautiful weather is. But again, it's about
Yes.
poems, about the literature, like books or stories. Yeah, they were interesting. Yeah, the authors behind them were creative people. There are so many comedic. There's kind of comedy. Um, and there are so many, and also there is some philosophy in there. Like for example, Skovoroda, Gregory Skovoroda. I still remember his poem «Всякому місту звичай добро, всяко триває свою». You see, I can't remember that, but I remember the first line in my head.
Hmm.
It was kind of philosophic about like he's been bothered by his thoughts that and about there in the poem there were last lines that were like gave the whole meaning to the poem, but I forgot. Or it was about like how he was thinking about his own life and how it's meaningful or meaningless.
Hmm.
Or yeah, I don't remember.
Well, to wrap this episode up, we would give some sources of inspiration for listeners, usually talking about a book or movie or series or even a game or anything that has gave us something that we now have it in our souls.
Firstly, I want to give inspiration for people to listen to this podcast series.
Yes, yes, we listen to this
Yeah,
podcast.
because if you listen to it like one someday, eventually I will be in the second episode, maybe sometimes. So for people to wait for me and actually listen to other
Yes.
podcasts. And yeah, there are other guests. But what about media consumption, games, books, movies? Just try to again, like my teacher in German said in the second school in the high school, just be like a sponge and consume any source of any type of media. It doesn't mean you have to appreciate every media you can consume, but again, you have to at least consume it in the critically, and maybe take something, or at least enjoy yourself while reading, watching something, listening to something, playing
Yes.
something. Yeah, our whole world is all about media, or at least half of it. About people transferring their knowledge, passing their knowledge from one to another, and that's why. And also the again games and movies are hard work of so many talented people. If the so and if the piece of fiction done right, and it's 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, or masterpiece, and doesn't matter. It's still produced by so many talented people, and there are so many nice guys in the industry, and I think that all of them, at least some of them, or at least one guy doing the game or the movie was
Hmm.
interested in to inspire people, give people some thoughts,
Yes.
just to give something in the world. So yeah, consume media, consume it critically, and yeah.
Dark Souls. Play Dark Souls.
Yeah, play Dark Souls. Yeah, actually nice series. The first game, the second one, maybe, kind of experimentish. The third game is kind of the most popular one, but I didn't like it. And yeah,
For me, I could find a piece of poetry from Khayyam. It says, "If wine can bring you joy, then drink and be glad. When sitting by moon-faced beauty, be glad. Since in the end the world is nothing but dust, be as if you are not. While you are, be glad." That is
tough.
nice. We would end this. See you, all the beautiful listeners, on the next episode.